Hi, I'm DJ with Kite Paddle Surf here in Bellingham, Washington. Why different mast lengths exist and why people have so many or why they don't have many, and which kind of sizes are best for kind of each part of the foiling spectrum of the different sports. In general, and again, I come from wing foiling, so some of this is going to have my bias in terms of learning to foil through wing foiling. In general, beginners tend to like the appeal or mentally like the idea of a shorter mast because they feel that the fall is going to be shorter, so I'm closer to the water. So some beginners would be a bit intimidated by starting with something like this 85 if we were starting them in the lessons behind the boat. So in general, we'd go with, about a 72 or 75 centimeter mast. The disadvantage of going with a short mast, especially as you get below 65, is that you just don't have much clearance, and so you don't have much time as a beginner to correct the upward and downward pitch as you learn your kind of balance between your back foot and your right foot and slight repositions as you get towed to different speeds, and that foil starts to generate different lifts, more or less lift as it moves through the water. So in general, learning to foil, you're going to probably start with a short mast, but the short mast is also fantastic for prone surfing, just because you're probably in shallower water, and also because you're not riding out over rolling swell, which in wing foiling is kind of why you tend to want to go with at least a medium to kind of longer sized mast. So for surfing, for prone foiling, generally guys are going to go in that 60 to 75, maybe up to 80, just so you have some clearance, but not too much. The other thing that happens when you get a mast that gets really long, it starts to feel a bit disconnected. And where that connection is most important, again, is in probably prone foiling and also in downwind foiling, where you really want your wing engaged with the most energetic part of that wave so you can be at your maximum efficiency of riding that wave. Wake foilers also tend to ride a bit in that shorter range, so again, about up to 80. For beginner wing foilers, most people are going to go between 72 and 85. As you progress in wing foiling, most people are going to ride between 80 and 95, for the length of the mast in centimeters. Really what that additional length, as you get into that longer end of that spectrum helps with, is getting out through rollers and not breaching the foil. If you ride with a shorter mast, sometimes you kind of have to press down more as you come out the backside to keep it down so it doesn't breach and you kind of skid down the back of the wave. I tend to ride my preferred time is on the 86.5 centimeter version of the performance mast. It's actually the 865 in millimeters from Armstrong. That's my favorite. A lot of the other guys in the shop are on that 935. For downwind foiling, kind of like prone foiling, the preferred settings are going to be, kind of in that 70, maybe to 82, 83, up to that 865 from Armstrong. That'd be kind of on the longer end for downwind foiling. Again, you really want that foil set engaged in the wave and the most energetic part of that wave without feeling too disconnected and high up off the water. The ultra long masts, like this 1035 or a 103.5, if it's in centimeters, would be mostly for a kite foiler. And again, they're looking for clearance, getting through rollers, but also with what happens with kiting is they get pretty high angles while they're riding upwind. And by having a longer mast, it keeps my wingtips from breaching. So if you have any questions about mast length, please give us a call, shoot us an email, or send us a chat at kitepaddlesurf.com. Give us a like and please subscribe to our channel.